What's up, everybody? We're back here for another session at the Win doing the WSOP, playing some 5-10 with the $20 straddle on sometimes. And for the first hand of the night, I wake up with 6-4 spades in the small blind. It does fold all the way around to me in the small blind. I decide to open up to $60. Person to my left in big blind actually puts in the call. And the straddle is going to be putting in the call as well. So we're going to be going three ways to a flop of 6-4 deuce, 2 diamonds. Oh my goodness, we just flop top. Should very well have the best hand right now unless somebody somehow has 5-3, which is possible. But yeah, we are looking pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. And this time around, being out of position with 2 players to act in position, I decide to start out with a check. Big blind actually puts in a check as well, but straddle actually does decide to put out a bet of $100, roughly half the size of the pot, which just is looking pretty good. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. I wanted somebody to stab in position so we can have that check rizzle coming in, and we do it. We do make it $320 to go, exactly what the doctor ordered. And surprisingly, after I do put in this check rizzle, I'm thinking that the straddle was gonna call, but for some reason big blind actually comes along with the call, and I'm like, what? They're calling. I expect the straddle to call. And then after big blind calls, the straddle actually lays it down. So it looks like they were just doing a range stab in position, and they just feel like they're beat to this check raise and also called by big blind. So like I said, straddle does fold. So we're going to go heads up to a turn, and it comes the 6 of hearts. Oh my goodness. We just hit the devil's card. We have a boat. 6s full of 4s on this board now. Love to see it. Pretty much have these stone cold nuts. There's no better hand that is possible right now. And now I'm thinking about what my sizing should be here on turn, and I decide, I'm going to size down a little bit this time. I actually just put out a bet of $270, roughly 30% of the pot. My opponent does actually go into the tank for a little tiny bit, just pretty much thinking, why did I bet so small after check raise and flop so big? So it seemed like it may have thrown them off a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. That's what I wanted it to do. And after thinking for a little bit, they do finally put in a call, and we go to river, and it comes my lady diamond, river queen. You know we love the ladies. What a card to come on the river. This is perfect for me. I have a boat. I want my opponent to either have that last 6 in the deck, or I want them to have that flush draw that they've been floated and calling with, and they finally hit the flush on the river. And we do have roughly $1,530 left behind here, roughly a pot-sized bet or a little bit of an overbet. So y'all know what time it is. We're going to have an 100-man moment. I am all in for $1,530. My opponent actually does go into the tank for a little bit here. They tank for about 30 seconds, a minute and a half. And I'm just like, please have a flush. Please have a flush. Let me get paid. Haven't been getting paid that much of the WSOP. Now it's time for me to make some fucking money. And finally, my opponent does flip in the call. We turn over the boat, and they sigh and shake their head. I mean, obviously we have the nuts, so we know we're going to win every single time, right? They sigh and they shake their head, and they end up showing me 10-9 of diamonds. So they did end up rivering a flush there. Love to see it. My lady's bailing me out again. We take down this massive fucking pot to start the night. Love to see it. It's only going to be up from here, right? And how did you feel about me playing that hand? Did you like it? Did you not like anything about it? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. And for this hand, we wake up with pocket aces. The Rockets, one of the easiest hands to play with in poker. Yes, it is one of the easiest hands, ladies and gentlemen. If you think otherwise, I don't know why. But anyway, we got pocket aces. No straddle is on. Under the gun actually puts in the limp for $10. It does fold all the way around to me in cutoff, and I decide to bump it up. I make it $40 to go. Small blind actually comes along with the call. And then oddly, the under the gun limps and then just folds here. Like, why did they fold to the third, what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it once again. But anyway, it looks like we're just going to be going heads up with small blind, and we go to a flop of queen 9-8, 2 clubs. And this is actually a pretty decent scary board here. My opponent could have 2 pairs already. They can have straights. Just a lot to worry about. Let's just hope they have some queen X and we can just win a decent amount of money here. But my opponent does start out with a check. And as I said, really dangerous board here. So this time around, I'm actually going to play a check back here with pocket aces. Let's see a turn. And it brings the 6 of spades here. Pretty decent turn here. I mean, 10-7 just made a straight, but I don't think they should have 10-7, so that would be really weird and awkward. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it now. And on the turn, they do lead out for $60 here. And I do put in the call. River brings in the 9 of diamonds. And then here, my opponent actually slows down. He decides to put in the check. And I'm not having it here. We got to get a little bit of money in the middle. We have pocket aces. It is the best starting hand, not the best hand, the best starting hand in poker. We know the ladies is the best hand. So we're going to go for some money here on the river. Let's put out a bet. We make it $90. My opponent thinks about it for a couple of seconds. They do put in a call. We flip over pocket aces. They look at their cards and they do muck. So we are 2 for 2 for pots for the night. And for this hand, we're going to play one of my favorite hands that I love to play, a bomb pot that we get with the dealer change. This time around is going to be no limit hold'em with a double board. Each player is going to be putting in $50. After reg is going to be roughly $200 in the middle here. And we're going to be going to a flop of 8-8-6 rainbow and 10-7-6 rainbow. We just have a 7 offsuit. I mean, let's see what happens. I put in the check in small blind, place my left put in a check as well. It does go all the way around to middle position, and they decide to put out a bet of $50. And I'm thinking, I only have a 7, but $50 is a lot in the middle. I'm like, let me just make a back call here out of position. Let's just see what happens. I don't know, maybe we'll be heads up with them. We can take the pot down later. Let's see how it goes. I do flick in the call, and actually big blind puts in a call as well. So instead of going heads up to the turn, we're going to be going 3 ways to a turn, and it comes the 9 of clubs and the 2 of spades. 2 of spades, a relative brick on one board, but the 9 of clubs is a pretty good card. I am now open-ended to the nuts, even though it's going to be hard to hit a 10 because a 10 is on the other board, but I can still hit a 5. Who knows? Let's see what happens, like I've been saying. And here I put in a check. Big blind puts in the check as well, and middle position actually puts in the check. So we're still going to be 3 ways to the river, and it comes an ace of clubs and the 2 of clubs. So once again, just brick on one board with the deuce and a rubber ducky. But on one board, we actually do hit an ace. So now we have a pair of 7s on one board and a pair of aces on one board. Just hopefully nobody has a club, and maybe we take this down. Who knows? And with everybody checking on the turn, I do feel like there is a strong possibility I can have the best hand here. So I am going to be putting out a bet. I make a really small wager here, just $120. Big blind doesn't really take that long. They lay down their cards. MP thinks about it for a bit, and eventually they do flick in the call. I turn over my cards and I table my ace 7. I say I have an ace on one board and then 7 on another board. And they look at their cards and they actually just show a 6. So they had a pair of 6s on both boards. I guess they were just hoping, of course, to just take down one of these boards. And the wager I put on the river was really super small. Obviously, they were just calling for the chop. They didn't really think that they were going to win both pots, so I can see their reasoning for calling. But hey, we do take down a bomb pot. That is 3 for 3 in pots so far tonight. And next hand for tonight, I wake up with pocket 9s, upside down 6s, in big blind. The straddle is not on once again this hand, so it's just going to be that one big blind of $10. It does fold all the way around to us in the blinds. We're going to have some blind versus blind action. Let's get it. Small blind actually does make it $30 to go. 3x on the big blind, of course. And I decide, that's not enough money. Let's bump it up. I 3-bet and I make it $100 to go. We are playing a little bit deep, so I did go a little bit bigger with my 3-bet. And small blind is not going anywhere. They're going to be calling out of position to my 3-bet. So we're going heads up to a flop of ace, a 6, 3, 2 spades. We do have red nines in our hand. So decent flop. I mean, obviously I am losing to an ace and other pocket pairs, but maybe I have a lower pocket pair, hopefully not sixes or threes, but we can still be very ahead here, ladies and gentlemen. My opponent does put in the check, and this time on this board, I am going to be putting in the C bet. I just put out a really small bet of $60. My opponent thinks, and of course, they're not going to be going anywhere this time around. They do flick in the call. Turn brings in the 5 of spades. Not a really good card I want to see here. Flushes just got there. If they somehow have pocket 5s, that's another set they have now. And also, if they somehow have 7-4 suited, I don't see that happening. They don't have 7-4 suited. They just, no, they don't have 7-4 suited. But yeah, really rough spot here. My opponent does check, and I decide to, in position, just going to be checking back here. Let's control the pot a little bit, and let's see a river. And we go to it, and it comes the 6 of hearts. Very interesting river, because obviously my opponent could have floated a 6 from the flop. And I just want them to check so that I get to determine what happens here in the river. They think about it for a bit, actually, like 30 seconds or so, and then they actually just put out this really tiny small bet of $110. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. $110. What the hell is this? Who do you think I am? People just, oh man, when they do these small bets, I mean, like, it's not too often in live poker people are really this good to bet this size and it'd be a bluff. They're just really just not that good. And I'm not saying the specific person that I'm playing against in this pot is not that good. I am just saying live players as a whole population are not extremely good at betting this size a lot as a bluff. If this was online, depending on the player, I would actually be putting in a call, you know, at a little bit of a higher frequency, to be honest. But this time playing live, I mean, I do actually go into the tank, but I'm just like, yo, they just fucking always have it. It's just going to be an ace. It's going to be some ace with some weak kicker, like freaking ace 10 or ace 8. It's just going to be some nonsense like that. They just always have a hand like that. It's just never a bluff. It's just almost never a bluff. And even if this one time it is a bluff, I can still fold because it's almost never a bluff. And that's math, ladies and gentlemen. So after the deliberation and tanking, I just lay down my pocket nines very confidently. I'm good. I'll save my $110, 30%, 25% or pot, whatever the hell it was. And we'll just move on to the next hand. Unfortunately, not 4 for 4, but we're still 3 for 4 with pots for the night. And it looks like it's just a night of pocket pairs. We get our third pocket pair of the night. Pocket 10s, red 10s in cutoff. No straddle is on once again. So it's going to be that $10 big blind. And low jack actually opens up to $30. Does fold around to me in cutoff, and I'm going to be bumping it up. I put in the 3 bet to $100. Does fold all the way back around to them, and I thought they would just be putting in a call, but they have other plans. They are actually loading up the clip, loading up the 4 bet to $330. This is actually a pretty hefty, big, well, massive size 4 bet. It's pretty big here. We are playing a little bit deep though, so I understand them, you know, going super big here. But I got pocket 10s in position. We're not going anywhere. Got to flick in the call, of course. So we do flick in the call, and we're going to be going heads up in this 4-bet pot to a flop of queen 4-3, 2 hearts. Do have red 10s, like I said, so I do have a 10 of hearts in my hand. My opponent actually surprisingly does start out with a check here, and I'm like, wow, they actually checked on this board. Was actually pretty unexpected. Expected them to be c-betting here, and then I was just gonna call, but hey, they actually checked, and I'm like, you know what, let me chill here. I'll actually check back. Let me see what can happen on the turn. Let's pot control a little bit, and we go to the turn, and it comes the jack of diamonds. Just not a good turn. I mean, at this point now, I am losing to any jack in the deck, and my 10s is just basically third pair on this board. Not looking pretty good. And I see my opponent starting to grab his chips, and just I'm already knowing that this is not going to be good. They do put out a bet of $400, and just with pocket 10s, just don't see a breeze in a call here. I have nothing going for me at all. If it was the jack of hearts, then I can argue calling here, since I do have the 10 high flush draw to draw to, but it's just not worth it. and the jack can also hit some of their 4-bet bluffs that they're going to have versus cutoff in low jack out of position. So, and this person is also reg, so I know that they're capable of doing that. So yeah, I'm just going to chill, fold. We'll just move on to the next hand. And Pocket Pier City again, but this time we get dealt Pocket Eights, my second favorite hand in the deck, the Snowman, with the $20 straddle on. Finally, somebody's putting a damn straddle on. It's been taking forever today. But hey, we got it. It's on. And I am in under the gun +1. I decided to open up to $50. Oddly, it folds all the way around to the straddle, and they are going to be the only opponent we're going to be facing here. They put in a call, so we'll actually be going heads up to a flop of 5, 6, 7. 2 diamonds. We have pocket eights. We are open-ended to the said nuts majority of the time, and we have the 8 of diamonds in my hand. Really important card here. And to start out, my opponent says this is their board. This hits their range. They're donking. They just lead out $60, and I'm like, holy shit, hold on, pump the brakes here. I know what you're trying to do here. You're leading out here. All these low cards, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It's a fine play to make, but I actually have a hand. I have pocket eights. I'm not having it, so we're going to be putting in, not the check Rizzo, we're just going to be putting in that raise in position this time. I have a lot of equity on this board. Let's get it. I make it $200 to go. My opponent doesn't snap make a decision here. He actually goes into the tank for a little bit, like 30 seconds or so. They were definitely thinking about something. In the moment, I was not sure exactly what yet, but they do finally eventually make the call. Maybe they were thinking about 3-betting here. Not 100% sure, but that is what it was looking like. So yeah, they do put in a call, and we're going to go to a turn, and it comes the 9 of clubs. What a turn for me. I pretty much turned the second nuts. I mean, if they have 10-8 suited, for the love of God, I guess you just take a lot of my money, because how the hell do you have 10-8 suited? I have 2 8s in my hand, or have 10-8 off. There's only 2 8s left in the deck. And then you're going to also have a 10 to go with it after leading the flop. Come on now, that'd just be too much. I mean, nonsense. It would be nonsense, basically. And on the turn, my opponent puts in the check. And I'm going to continue my story here that I have a very strong hand here, but I'm actually not going to be sizing up too much. I'm actually going to go for a relatively small wager here. Just going to be betting $140 into the pot. And my opponent this time does not tank at all, just rather quickly comes along with the call. So we're going to go to the river, and it comes the 5 of hearts. They check, and really rough river here. If you think about it, obviously I do have a straight, but the 5 of hearts could have possibly given them a boat. It could have given them a boat, but obviously we can't be scared. Mama ain't raised no bitch. We're going for it. We're putting money in the pot. We make it $575 on the river, and they actually go into the tank, and a little more so look like that they were thinking about calling or folding. Didn't look like they were going to be raising based on the chips that they were reaching for. So I feel real happy about it. As the time is going by, I figured once they flick in the call, I am going to be winning, and they continue to tank. But eventually they do flick in the call, and I turn over my favorite hand, the Snowman, pocket eights, and they flip over their hand for the block. Shout out to this person for subbing. And thanks for actually showing me your hand. Appreciate it. They actually do turn over 4-3 of diamonds. Are you kidding me? What a way to suck out on them. They basically flop the stone cold nuts. Well, the second nuts, 8, 9, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? They pretty much had me dominated, and I just luck boxed them on the turn and get extra money in there, and then even get more money on the river. Love to see it, but hey, I just luck box. Sometimes it pays to be good, and sometimes it pays to just luck box. I got lucky in this hand. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and don't forget while you're down there, smash that sub button. I would greatly appreciate it. Pocket pair action again. What a surprise, right? That's all this video has been talking about this whole time. Let's get it. We have pocket aces in big blind, and the straddle is on. Thank goodness somebody put the damn straddle on, and I wake up with pocket aces. So we're actually going to have a weird limp battle here, or a limp party. Under the gun puts in a limp. We have people in middle position putting in a limp. Button putting in a limp. Basically, we have 5 other people at the table limping, ladies and gentlemen. We're not having it because we have aces in big blind. So we're actually going to bump it up. I make it $160 to go. Basically 8 big blinds. And surprisingly, almost everybody folds. And I'm like, no, everybody can't fold. Please don't everybody fold. I have aces. I'm trying to make some money here. And luckily, it does get all the way back to the button. And they actually come along with the call. So we're going to be going heads up to a flop of 9, 3, 2, 2 clubs. We do have black aces in our hands, so we do have the ace of clubs. Very nice. If they manage to hit something crazy like a set already, then we can go runner for that nut flush, or even just hit an 8. Let's see what's going to happen. And I decide to put out a C bet this time. Continuing my story, I make it $110 to go. Relatively small bet compared to what's already in the pot with all the limpers and me ISO into the 160. And apparently they feel like it's too small too. They raise in position. They make it $330. But this is exactly what I wanted to happen. I would love for them to just start putting chips in themselves. As if they do, I have aces. I'm probably just going to have the best hand, and I am going to be able to stack them. And with me having ace of clubs in my hand, I decide to not be scared of the flush draw. If they have a flush draw, oh well, too bad. Hopefully it doesn't come. So this time around, I am just going to be putting in the call. And we go to a turn, and it comes the 8 of spades, a relative blank here. I don't ever see them having pocket 8s. So we're looking pretty good. I put in a check once again, and they pretty much snap jam all in for $805. I couldn't call quick enough. I mean, I'm never folding here on this driver board. We flick it in, and they actually asked me, do I want to run it 2 times? And ladies and gentlemen here watching, let me know in the comments below, are you somebody that likes to run it once, or are you somebody that likes to run it twice? And what would you have actually done in this exact spot? Let me know. And back to the hand here. My opponent did ask me that, and I actually said, you know what? You subbed to my channel, and you even showed me your hand with the 4-3 of diamonds. I'll run it 2 times here. In this spot, usually, I would always run it once with aces. I am not running this spot twice, but being kind, I don't mind doing that when somebody's friendly at the table and stuff like that. No problems. Let's run it 2 times. Let's go straight to it. All right. We go 2 times. I go 2 times.
We already burned. Here's the first run up. And the second.
And for the first run out, it comes a 4 of spades, a relative brick, unless they somehow have ace 5, which I don't see them having. So we should be good there. And the other board brings in just a 3 of hearts, which is actually a really good card, because if they did somehow have 9-8 suited, I would now chop on that board and lose on the other board. I do turn over and table my pocket aces. And they said, you're good. They flick in their last $5 that was sitting behind. We do take down that massive pot. What a way to end this session. We are finally catching some heat again. Let's keep this going into the next session. What a night that was at one of my favorite places to play. We actually have our best session yet during this World Series of Poker. I finished up $4,600. And if you like that beautiful session, make sure you check out this one right here, where I either was running bad or playing awful. You can be the judge. Let me know in the comments in the video.